Okay, hi everyone. My name is Matt, and I'm a PHP developer for maybe 12 years now. And I worked maybe 6 years for AI developments in trading exchange. And I'd say I have a. Oh, sorry, you don't need to watch this. I'd say I have a little bit of experience related to AI systems, enough so that I can talk about this Chat GPT. How is it working? How does it work? And I will not share all the secrets today, so I want to go briefly through the simple question how it works from developer's perspective, how it could work from my own opinion. But the thing is, it's really powerful, and I'm really happy that they have made such a version. But the thing is that the people are actually really trying to make it be knowledgeable. So it means that many data sets are prepared to be correct or precise through a scientific approach. So, but if by any means these AI systems would start to learn through entire network, reading our posts, Facebook posts, and like reading all the junk out there, the AI system will easily mess up everything and will just turn to a complete dumb, ordinary human who just knows many things without even knowing whether it's true or not. So, in other words, right, I'll turn off the sound for this device. In other words, what it means is it's only good if certain people are looking after for for such an AI. As soon as the AI starts being accepted to learn from the outsource, like the people who are typing here, it will become uh, pretty much randomized. So anyway, let's get into it. Now, before we start talking about how it works, we need to return to original image processing, which basically I think is the main root in development of such a text speech. If we talk about neural networks, I hope all of you know to some degree what are neural networks. But in this video, I will skip that part and maybe talk about it in a different video. But let's take this is a really nice image right here. Let's try to open it up full screen. So what actually does AI generated images do? These beautiful images that you type in text and it draws images, or you put in your own image and you type what you want to change it to look like. So what do they actually do? So how the neural networks actually learn? So first of all, we have an original image without the text, of course, here, and we have a in between. Let's say we have a neural network, a large neural network. And sorry, I woke up a little bit sick, I'm really sorry. I wanted to do this video today, but I woke up a little bit sick, and yeah. So sorry. I just wanted to do it today, not do it later. So anyway, so in between there is a neural network. So the neural network doesn't see the original image. It doesn't see it. What it's done, how the neural network is trained, you give him an image where random pixels are removed. Let's say 50% of pixels are removed. It would be something like adding noise to it. But eventually what it means, maybe you add noise or maybe you remove pixels. Maybe adding noise is better, maybe removing pixels is better, who knows, right? So you can do two variants and just test it who works the best. Because if you remove pixels, the AI needs to just fill in the pixels that were removed. But if you add an overlay with random pixels on top of it, the AI understands that he needs to change the existing pixels. So basically, what it means, remove pixels would be just all removed pixels are black dots, and random added pixels would be that there's some kind of a layer added to it, and there's like multiple images looking through. But that's not the point here. The point is that you pass this image into the neural network. The neural network has a task to do. Change the image so that we get to maximum closest as we can get to the original image. Now there can be some kind of a score validation, like let's say if all pixels are correct, there is a 100% score. If let's say 10% pixels are wrong, then there is a 90% score results. And try to get as high as you can get. And every time you reach a new higher and better result, save the neural network. So what it does is maybe a million times, maybe 100 million times re-rendering the same image, the AI neural network will at some point output this image. And you can basically calculate how fast it can happen and how much long time it could take. You can calculate how much pixels are there. You can calculate how much pixels variance you can put there. So let's say if it's trying to render out, let's say only two, like a grayscale image, there's only two variants of colors, whether it's black or whether it's white. But if you want to render out, like, let's say, a colorful image, there is so many variants, like 255 times 255 times 255 in names of colors. So eventually, this process can take from fast to incredibly slow. Now, this is where the computing power comes in, and that's why so many image processing engines are not that good yet. But anyways, continuing. So what happens now is that the neural network tries to output image most precisely according to the result that it's asked for. So there is an AI, there is a script that adds noise, like a random noise, let's say 50%, 70%, 10%. Neural network tries to fit it to the original. Once the original is okay, he passes on to the next image and then learns both images together, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, and therefore like 100 million images. Now that's how you fill in the image from this point of view. Of course, it could be complicated for many AIs that are out there, but this is the principle. So later on, you can change it. So what happens now if you want to, let's say, create your identity or create something, let's say Mona Lisa holding a cat in her hand. Now here is the next thing. The AI needs to know like thousands and maybe 100 million images where the word Mona Lisa holding cat in her hand actually exists. So what it means is the AI needs thousands of images with Mona Lisa and a cat. So what happens is it will put Mona Lisa right here, and then it will put a cat, like, and add noise. Let's say lots of noise, 70% noise, and just add a cat on it somewhere, like a different image with a cat. And what will happen is that noisy image with the Mona Lisa and a cat will be passed through the neural network, and it will generate an original image of those pixels with the part of it is Mona Lisa and part of it is a cat. So it will like regenerate the absolute predictancy of that to make it absolute realistic, as if the DNA material, which are the pixels, are mashed together with Mona Lisa and a cat. So how you can make it better? You need to set like which is the most important image of this. Is it Mona Lisa or is it the cat? So, and you can set up the balance between, maybe add some ratios, maybe something, or maybe you put 10 or 20 images there, and it will just draw out all those 20 images together. Or maybe the Mona Lisa will not be visible there, maybe some other things will be visible there. So then you get a little bit confused. So to do this, to make such a software, you need millions of images, which are classified by names and descriptions what is in the image. And you need also, to make it better, you need just tons of images with classifications, but as soon as you're there, the AI will maybe learn, maybe months, maybe 2 months, maybe how long, depending on the size of the image, but maybe at some point it will actually work pretty good. And maybe in the future there will be higher and more higher developed AI systems out there that will do even more complicated things. Now, uh, when we are now, this is how the random images are made from the AIs what are out there. So now when we get to the most interesting part, which is the Chat GPT. Tell me, give me a PHP code that changes one min candlesticks into one min bars that show one min horizontal bars that shows the values, how much the price has went up or down in. Let's just see what it writes, but who knows how it will make it. But so what is the ChatGPT from my perspective now doing, right? Let's just close this image and so to make such a software, what I think, let's start it from the other side of it. To make such a software, there has to be a neural network and a validation whether that's correct or not. The output what the AI gives is correct or not. But since it has learned through millions and millions of data, millions of variations, it could be that he is by percent right many times, but not all the times. So it also could be that, not could be, but it also, if it's like that, then you need to have lots of human hours to just getting the data set for this AI to learn from. It can be really expensive and really difficult, but once you have those data sets, you can then furthermore develop more and more advanced AI systems because you have already a bank of data sets available to learn. You just change the learning algorithm. So creating those data sets could be the hardest part right here. So now let's consider, I will read this later. Let's consider ChatGPT, and maybe I can zoom in so you can both see. Let's consider Chat GPT. Let's consider it. So how is it working? So you have let's say, an input question. Let's say, tell me a story about a duck. The AI outputs something. Let's say that's his first output. Maybe he doesn't output anything itself. Correct answer. There was a duck that was walking near the lake. So what the AI now is how the AI is learning. So there's a huge neural network in the processing. So it processes this text, I think, letter by letter by letter, not word to word to word, letter by letter by letter. And that's the input. And it tries to output something. And this answer is wrong. Try again. So the again process is just change a little bit the neural connections, the weights, as they say, or the biases, as they say also. And it will output something else, maybe duck, something like this. And you have like a Word doc is also here. You have like a 5% accuracy. Try again. So it happens like millions and millions of iterations until he answers the story correctly, and this neural network is saved. That this neural network can answer a simple story like this, simple question like this. And there are these users who work in the company that, okay, this is the correct answer, but change the name duck to dog, and he will output. Most definitely, he will output something like this, and then no, he will definitely output something like this because he know that the previous answer was correct. So we assume that this is the same answer always now, and the system will reply him wrong again. So, but you're like 70% correct, and now what happens is these statements, these statements right here, and these answers right here are given by a human. And what happens is that a human needs to check that whatever he is inputting to giving to learn to the AI has to be with the correct answer. So, and the system doesn't assume that the story has to be correct in such a way. So, uh, you need to just verify a human whether the thing he told is true or not, is accurate or not. So there is definitely some part of the data inputs that humans give. Like humans check them to be correct. For example, how much is, let's say, 2 plus 2? And he will say like 4, and the answer is correct. And the answer is 4. It's 2. And you can also give him like 2 plus 2. And he will maybe tell 2 plus 2 equals 4. And the answer is 4, but nevertheless it's also correct. So what it means is that these right or wrong answers, or these question-like answers, that there is basically a couple of right answers. These can be generated by computer systems. So what happens is you can give him the mathematical formulas, because formulas themselves can be learned, or the answers given by a computer really fastly. So you don't need a human to make those questions. In other words, to get the correct answers, a computer can make a question and assume the correct answer. Let's say 2 plus 2, then minus 5, and add 10 to the result. And the answer is, let's say, I don't know how much the answer, for example, 12. And he will also say 12, or maybe 11, or maybe 10, until he gets the correct answer. So, and then you have like millions and millions of iterations, and until you get these answers. And then of course, there is, after that, there is like millions of times when humans are from the same company testing it and just clicking whether it's right or wrong, these answers. So, but now, how can you actually learn this? So imagine you have learned the system. You can give him PHP codes, whatever other language codes you have gave them. At some point, by doing correct or wrong, or the questionnaire is here is a code, change the third line to something else. Well, at some million iterations, it will understand the logic between the question and the answer, and it will be pretty good. It just takes lots of data, prepared data, and I mean really lots of data. Some part of the data can be computer made, some part of the data can be human made, some part of the data can be semi-automated, and some part of the data does not necessarily need to be nor tested nor checked. It has to be made, like the next thing which I want to show here. So the next thing is I had this dream tonight, and that's why I wanted to make this video. How can you change? How can you change actually? Let's say uh, words or letters or texts in a way that the the neural network starts understanding it as texts and therefore creates some valuable text. And the one point which I had in this dream is a grid of pixels again, the same which we talked right here, the grid of pixels. So imagine this grid could be only in pixels. Let's say I don't know, on computer you can definitely check how many symbols are there. But let's say in this comparison, one of this small dot is one letter or one symbol. And if and each of the tone of the pixel, let's say whether it's gray or yellow or blue, let's say just the yellow or the grayscale value of the pixel could be and it doesn't have to be a pixel. What it means, it's a number. So each letter consists of a number. Let's say letter A starting from the alphabet is 0, and B and C and D and small b and large G and etc. Each have a 0 to 1 value. Let's say 0, like 1, and therefore it's then interpreted into pixels. So let's say Z could be number 32, and let's say L could be a surrounded value of 16, and you just translate all those letters into numbers. So what then happens is then you have this grid, which basically is your entire text. Now, how you can learn this AI to make a text from your given words is that you could remove random letters again and just put nothing there, like empty space. This is the part you need to guess. And keep the original text aside and just do another evaluation of, let's say this is the input and you need to get this output. And then you make it 100% score. You can get 100% score, just do it. And you give him and feed him the same text over and over again, different texts. Remove a couple of words, remove 1,000 words, remove 5,000 words, remove 70% of the words, remove 90% of the words, remove 5 words, and start making him doing these tasks so this neural network can learn. And you can give those texts, you can take those texts from variety of sources, like starting from like Wikipedia's, starting from all those sources where the grammar is correct, or maybe do a spell check before, like an automated spell check before you pass it into it, right? So then what happens is it knows how to fill in the missing words close or exactly how it was meant to be. But I think the AI system should look to a result which is close, not exact, because if it's exact, it will be, but like a copy. But if you are feeding him millions and millions and millions of data sets, it will never be exact. There will always be something miss out. So then you have something that regenerates the text, recreates the text from scratch, from original, from, let's say not from original, but from what it was to the original. And then what do you do is, let's say, write me a text about, let's say, a poem about a dog and a cat. And let's just open, let's Google it, poem. Oh no, write me a poem. Let's do that here. Write me a poem. Write me a small poem about a cat. And let's just make him write, because I don't want to Google it. Like a 4 lines, I guess, not more. He's writing something. Who knows what he's writing? So, but anyway, we humans do the same. We are asked for something, we imagine something. It goes like randomly and write out. But the point is, I don't need that long right now. Stop. And let him continue. So, for example, here is the poem, and now what I mean is we remove a couple of words and give this to the AI, and can you produce the original backwards? And he will be learning and learning and learning, and then we put those words back and remove different random words. And produce it back to the original. And we do it all the times, like millions and millions of times, because there are millions of variations. There are like, I don't know how many symbols are there, and how many symbols are there. There's like a trillion and millions of variations how you can do this. So you can learn a lot only from one poem. And you do it with tons of poems, like tons of correct texts, and then it will regenerate and make it back to the original. Or if you give him a text that he has not ever seen or learned, he will try to do it the same as it was done earlier before. We don't accept anybody to tell him whether it's wrong or wrong. You just put the output, and he will do it. So this is how you can from this dream I had. This is how you can make these AI generate text. But there is a little bit challenging to get those large data sets. For example, uh, uh, you need to study. Okay, here is the output he got, right? And there is now a human interference needed to make him be really good. Let's say gentle, poor, smoothing sound, a symphony. Oh, we love this. Let's say yes. Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. But remove the second line, please. I mean, the second line will be here, right? And he says certainly here's the version. A cat with eyes. I didn't move the second line. Maybe he will remove the second this thing. Her with eyes like diamonds. No, which is the line? Without the which is now the question is which was for him the second line? A cat, a cat with, a cat with fur, with eyes. She moves her whiskers, her gentle. So anyway, what I want to tell is I do this on programming when I'm asking for programming. He could remove this. Which I'm gonna ask him. Which line did you remove? With eyes that shine like diamonds bright. With eyes that shine like diamonds bright. It's not removed, yes, but yes, but it's not removed. Now this is funny. My apologies. Let's do it. Okay. Now this is crazy. Now how is this possible? Uh okay, super. Yeah, thanks. So so what I wanted to tell is that there has to be a human interaction with this, telling him to do, and if it does it, the human tells him, yeah, that's correct, that's wrong, that's correct, that's wrong, that's correct, that's wrong, and so then you can get something much closer to an AI that completely understands the questions that are given. Now, as far as these OpenAI developers have made, they made him astonishingly good. I think they spend lots and lots of times developing this software so that he can remember things, he can do things, he can remember the things that were done before. So there is basically like information about the things that were talked prior that's also sent through the neural network. So at this point, it's another really expanded neural network that you need to also give him these tasks, what to do, knowing the correct answer, and thus checking whether he did or did not made the needed editing there. So there has to be like, and also you can make it a human based, or you can do it a developer based, that like a developer makes scripts and codes for the AI, so the script learns the AI. Let's say AI is teaching the other AI. So in simple words, or let's say how you can do this is you need to just start making those neural network codes. And maybe in some video I can make a couple of these codes myself. I'm really curious, but honestly I don't have enough time in my free time to make these. So if you like this video, if you're like, okay, let's do this, please help me with this, then I can start coding up and see how it works, because one thing is you make that code, but the completely different thing from my experience is fine tuning. It takes a lot of time. So basically, if you learn this AI and you discover that you want to change it to a different, let's say, code or update, you don't see that it works, you want to add some changes to it, you need to relearn the entire sequence over and over again. And it can take a month maybe. So you need lots of computing power. And once the computers and servers got better, then of course you have the computing power as necessary. So yeah, this is my story. Hope you all guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for a different video.